Diamondbacks back in action tonight. They'll start a 3-game series with the Tampa Bay Rays. They will do so without Jake McCarthy, who they sent down yesterday. Still waiting for the official word on what the corresponding move will be. McCarthy just off to a slow start. Was great last year, specifically in the second half, helping this team out, but has been off to a really slow, sluggish start for an offense that outside of the top 4 guys, Corbin Carroll, Perdomo, Naylor, Smith, outside of those 4 guys, an offense that is searching for answers, an offense that is looking for anybody else to step up and help those other 5 guys out. Lourdes Gurriel, Eugenio Suarez, who we're about to talk about, Gabby Moreno. They don't have Ketel Marte, so it's Tim Tawa and Garrett Hampson. They are looking for anybody to fill that void that they have offensively right now with Marte out and with the lack of production 5 through 9. I mean, producer Evan said to me off the air the other day when we were watching the game during the break, after you get through the first 4 guys of the Diamondbacks lineup, you basically just are expecting outs. You're not anticipating the Diamondbacks to be able to put together any sort of rally. And that links back to a conversation that we were having yesterday, because it is hard to ignore right now what Jordan Lawlar is doing down in Reno. We brought you the numbers yesterday of what he's done through his first 21 games, hitting north of 320, has a 1.049 slugging, multiple extra base hits. I think he's got 5 home runs. He has just been outstanding in his first 21 games down there in Reno. He's playing a little second base. We know that he can play third and that he can play short. And so it's hard to ignore what the number 1 prospect in the Diamondback system is doing. It's hard to ignore what a 22, about to be 23 later on this year player is doing for a team that right now offensively is kind of searching for somebody to step up. And so it's hard to not talk about, could Jordan Lawlar help the Arizona Diamondbacks? And we have tried to hold that snowball on the hill to make sure it doesn't keep rolling down the hill and turn into a full-blown avalanche, because we've said, whoa, wait a second. You can't call this kid up unless you have a regular spot for him. You're not calling him up because Ketel Marte is going to miss a series of weeks to just send him back down when Marte is back. Jordan Lawlar, when he is up here, needs to stay up here. And so it is a really fine line that Mike Hazen, Torey Lovello, and this organization have to walk of, we're struggling offensively. There's a kid down there in the minors, our number 1 prospect that is, as advertised, is just crushing the ball down in Reno. Is it time to call that kid up? Is it time to have that conversation? It's hard to not do that. But the pushback is, where's he going to play? What's the spot going to be? Where can Lawlar get those regular ABs? It's not second base when Ketel Marte is here. It's not at short where they just signed Perdomo to an extension. And so that leads us to a guy that through the first 22 games of the season, yes, he has hit 6 home runs, but he is hitting 156. He has a 261 on base percentage, a 429 slugging, WRC plus, where 100 is league average. He is an 88. So for those of you who maybe aren't super big baseball nerds like I am, like producer Evan is, just know below 100, not good. So 88, below average. That's what Eugenio Suarez has been for the Diamondbacks so far this season. So that's the spot. That's where you look to see if Jordan Lawlar could provide a spark there. The only person, Perdomo's been good. Ketel Marte, before he got hurt, was hitting the ball just fine. So Suarez is struggling. That's the pathway for Jordan Lawlar to be on this team sooner rather than later. So I kind of hinted at it yesterday, but I want to touch on it again today because this team's about to start a 3-game series tonight. Is it too early to start looking at every single Eugenio Suarez at bat with that critical eye? Is it too early to, after an 0 for 3 night, the eyebrow raises a little bit and you go, man, Jordan Lawlar would probably do better here? Is it too early to do that? He's hit 6 home runs. He got off to a super hot start. We saw the struggles that he had in the first half of last year. And I can tell you what the numbers are. He's hitting 156 through these first 22 games, but I'll look at 2024 to just make sure we're on the record with the correct numbers. The first half last year, he hit 216 with 10 home runs and 45 RBI. That's what he did last year in the first half. 10 home runs, hit 216. He's hitting 156 through the first 22 games of this year. Is it too early? Is it being too overly critical to all of a sudden with what Jordan Lawlar is doing down in Reno to when Suarez has an 0 for night, an 0 for 3, and 0 for 4, you start to get louder and louder in your call for Jordan Lawlar? I don't know if it's that unfair to start paying attention to this. I don't know if it's that unfair to wonder if there reaches a point where now Eugenio Suarez is costing you an ability to stay relevant in the National League West, and Jordan Lawlar would help you stay relevant in the National League West. I don't know when those 2 points on the chart cross, but you'd have to think we're closer than we were at the beginning of the season.
And you said it. That snowball keeps rolling. Those conversations keep getting louder. Especially, I mean, Chris, these under-the-hood numbers you go in for Eugenio Suarez. I mean, he's always been a high strikeout guy, but a 33% K rate this year. He's striking out a third of the time. He's whiffing over a third of the time. His chase rate's as high as it's ever been.
Yeah, so we're chasing
from an
the ball.
Approach standpoint, he's lost.
Yeah, we're chasing the ball out of the zone. When we're swinging, we're missing it, and so it's leading us to strike out a ton. And it is just this is what Eugenio Suarez is. It's what he was last year. We saw it in the first half. He struggled, but he was so awesome in the second half that I don't want to say we forgot about it because we didn't, but it was kind of okay because in the second half when they were making that push and they were staying in the wild card race, it was because Eugenio Suarez was hitting the cover off the ball in the second half. And so you went into this season knowing, okay, Suarez has one more year left on his deal. They are not going to keep him beyond this season because they're just going to give this spot to Jordan Lawlar. But now we have to, and you know what? We're very prepared for this. We are going to have some of those tough conversations. You can't sacrifice what this season means. You can't sacrifice. Producer Evan, correct me if I'm wrong. The expectations this year are for this team to make the playoffs.
100%.
The expectations are this is a pretty darn good baseball team.
Best they've had in years.
So with that being the case, you expect this team to make decisions that align with those goals. You expect this team to make decisions that further their chances of making the playoffs, that further their chances of being one of the best teams in baseball. And at some point, not today, but maybe at some point in the near distant future, the best decision for the Arizona Diamondbacks is going to be Jordan Lawlar has to play, Eugenio Suarez has to sit. Not today, not April 22nd, not if they start a 3-game series against the Rays. But could I see in another week if Suarez continues to struggle and if Lawlar continues to be red hot down in Reno, could I see the calls getting louder and the conversation just being too hard to ignore? Absolutely. And you know what? I am going to keep an eye on where the Diamondbacks sit in the NL West. I am going to keep an eye on where they are in the wild card race because at some point you are going to have to look the entire organization in the eye and say, listen, we are behind everybody else in this wild card race. We are behind everybody in the National League West. We have to make moves that make us better, that draw us closer, that bridge that gap. And guess what? One of the moves this team is going to have in their arsenal, they're going to have this card to play, is calling up, promoting Jordan Lawlar and letting him take over at third base. But you only want to bring him up if he's playing every day. You only want him to be up here and getting those at-bats if he has the opportunity to contribute, if he has the opportunity to help this team in their goal, which we just stated is to make the playoffs and to be relevant in the National League. At some point, Eugenio Suarez might. So far, I would say he hasn't directly impacted this, but at some point, Eugenio Suarez and his slow start could impact the Diamondbacks' pursuit of those goals. And when he becomes an active reason why they're struggling, an active reason why they are behind the Padres, they're behind the Giants, they're behind the Dodgers, they're behind the Phillies, they're behind the Brewers, the Cubs, whoever's going to be in the Central in the wild card race, when he becomes an active reason why they're struggling as a group, it's going to be too hard to ignore. Right now, you can point to no Ketel Marte. You can point to the slow start and it only being April. The calendar's going to turn to May. Ketel Marte is going to be back on this team. And if they're still struggling offensively, if they're still not putting up enough runs, and Ketel Marte is still hitting the ball way over everything down in Reno, you're not going to have a choice because you need to do what is best for this team and its goals. And Jordan Lawlar helps you right now, and he helps you in the future. This team is trying to win. They're trying to make the playoffs. They're trying to win a championship. At some point, Eugenio Suarez is not going to be helping those goals, and Jordan Lawlar is going to be helping those goals. So this is something to keep an eye on. If Eugenio Suarez is back in the lineup tonight, yeah, you bet that Eugenio Suarez at bats right now, they carry a little bit more attention. A little more attention than you would expect for a guy that's hitting 156. Yeah, I'm paying a little closer attention to see, is the contact getting better? Is he having better ABs? Anything that potentially signals a turnaround. Because if there are no signals, if there are no clues to a turnaround, I think May is going to be the month of Jordan Lawlar.